All right, you guys, I am literally so excited for this Zoom that we have for you guys tonight. First off, I want you guys to truly be so excited and feel special that you get to be on here tonight because this was an invite only thing. We really wanted to be super specific as far as who was going to be on this tonight because we're just going to get straight into it, the good stuff, the meat, and I just want you guys to take away so much from this. This girl has inspired me for quite some time now. And I am just so excited for you guys to hear from her. So many good tips and leadership and journaling and everything else. So, Katie, if you can, will you go ahead and unmute yourself for me? There we go. All right. So if you will, just let's kind of make this part brief so we can kind of get into the good stuff. Just a little bit about who you were before It Works, why you joined, and just a little bit about your journey all the way to where you are today.
Okay, so before It Works, I'm a teen mom. I'm 23 now. I was 18, or I was 19 when I started in this business. So I had my daughter at 18. We moved out, and it was about a year-ish, almost a year. Oh no, I guess it was 7, 8 months being in our own house that I realized that it was just really expensive. Things kept going wrong, things kept breaking, and we were quickly just depleting every bit of money that we saved up. So I was in nursing school full-time, I was momming full-time, and my husband was basically working his life away. I never really saw him, so I was basically a single mom, even though technically I wasn't. And we were just drowning really bad, and I was looking for something, and that's when It Works kept showing up. I turned it down, shot it down 100 million times, and then I finally said yes and got started. I was the slowest person ever getting started. I signed my 4th loyal customer on my 30th day. And that was my first customer that was not family. And so that was really what kind of got me to know that I actually kind of stay in, honestly, and do more. And once I got that 4th one, I got a few more my second month, signed my first 2 DTs. My second DT was actually my presidential diamond that I have today, Brittany Cromwell. So that was kind of crazy. But so we've been in this together since pretty much the beginning. But I went Ruby my 3rd month, Emerald my 4th, diamond in my 10th, double diamond in my 11th. And my upline quit somewhere in the beginning, right after I went Ruby. She quit up in that realm. I had to figure out what I was doing, how to do it, and really just get my groove on. But once I went double diamond, we earned a ton of money in bonuses. I was making almost triple what my husband was making at his full-time job, working 60 to 70 hours a week. And then next year I went triple and then presidential and an ambassador. And so it's been a crazy ride. We've been able to do a lot of stuff, but the biggest thing ever for me is that we can put our bills on auto pay, and I never even have to think twice about what's getting paid. It's all getting paid, and we have a lot less to pay because we have not a lot of debt anymore.
Awesome. I love it. So I didn't know that you had a slower start your first month. And I think that is something that we should all kind of take note from, because there's so often that we sign somebody. I mean, I know that was me. I got my 4th loyal customer on my day 30, and it was my dad. But so many times we bring these people into the business and we're like, okay, they didn't start running their first month. I just don't think they're going to do anything with it. And now look at where you are today, and your sponsor quit. You figured all of this out on your own. It just goes to show that you don't need that perfect sponsor to get you to where you want to go. If you put the work in, you're going to do it here. I absolutely love your story there. Okay. So I've followed your journey for quite some time, but your podcast that you did with Pam was literally everything for me. And it was from that moment forward, I'm like, okay, I need to look into this voodoo stuff. I thought it was magic and voodoo and everything else, journaling. And it was just something so out of the norm for me. And now I am obsessed. I absolutely love it. And I know so many people on our team are journaling now because of your podcast. So just kind of share with them, if you feel that's how you got to where you are today, and kind of how you incorporated in with your business too.
Yeah, so kind of funny that you said that too, because I am super red, and I'm the least emotional person you'll ever meet. People my team laughs at me because I'm anti cry. I don't ever really cry. I think my husband's seen me cry 3 times since we've been together. I'm just so kind of I'm to the point with everything. So when I heard about journaling, I was in a really bad spot. I was really, really I was stuck at triple diamond. Triple diamond is the rank that I sat at the longest. I sat there for almost a year and a half. And it destroyed my life. I was I don't know what's going on. I was frustrated. I was angry because I had a baby in July, last July. And I was I I wanted to go or presidential and ambassador before I had this baby. And now I have the baby and I'm still a triple diamond. Like, what the heck? So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll do anything. So I got the journal. I just started it out. Like, I really didn't know what I was doing when I first started, but I remember just hearing like, okay, you need to really journal out as if it already happened and what you were feeling. And so when I started doing that, you know, I imagined what it would be like to be presidential diamond, because I want to point this out too, because I don't know where you guys are at in your, you know, in your business right now, but I was at the point at triple diamond where I was like, is this really where I'm just like only able to get to triple? Like, I can't get further than this. I was only meant to hit triple. Is this even for me anymore? Like, I was so angry because I know I'm a doer and I like results and I like money. So when it came that I'm sitting at triple, I was getting so angry. So I just got out, and it was July 18th, 2018. I made my first journal entry ever. So I just said, I'm going to read you guys my first one because it's the most powerful thing ever. But this is the day that I was fed up and tired of it. So I said, thank you, God, for making us the top 50 presidential team. At this point, we were 147. And so I said, it felt so incredible hearing my name announced on stage as a presidential diamond. I am overwhelmed with joy, excitement, and gratitude over this promotion. So many people on my team are now making thousands of dollars each month and are able to live freely. So at this point, I didn't have a lot of people on my team making thousands. It was like me and like a couple people. So I'm already speaking this into existence. And I said, I'm so in love with this business and building up my team with strong leaders. God, thank you for leading us to this position. Our team is enrolling so many team members, and they are so excited. I love watching them learn to dream. We are growing faster than ever with the most passion we've ever had for this business. XOXO, love Presidential Diamond, Katie Bevington. And so every single like journal entry follows up with XOXO, Presidential Diamond, Katie Bevington. Every single one. And I journaled about everything leading up to this, because at this time my team was like, it was like stagnant. Like, I had some people that were there, like kind of working. I had some leaders, but like even my leaders weren't leaders yet. Like, they're technically leaders, but not really leading. And so I had to figure that out. I'm like, all right, I can't do this alone. Like, getting to the big ranks, if you guys aren't there yet, like diamond, okay, cool. You could get there pretty much on your own, but past diamond, like, you need help. Even double diamond's a little iffy, but like triple diamond, you're not getting there by yourself. So you need help. And so I started going on to, God, I could not be more grateful for my leaders. I have the strongest, most passionate leaders out there, and I can't wait to take them to the top with me. They are signing so many team members and pouring into them so diligently. They are growing and becoming so confident within themselves. I am so excited that you have shown me who truly wants to grow and be a diamond leader. And these girls are so ambitious, so excited, and willing to do whatever it takes to get there. Team Bev is going to a whole nother level and glorifying you every step of the way. Again, XOXO, Katie Bev, Presidential Diamond, Katie Bevington. And so I kept going through this, and I kept everything, my volume. I started talking about numbers. Like, this is where I want my volume to be. This is how many customers I've personally signed in a month. This is how many enrollments we have team-wide. And, just literally everything that goes into this, the confidence of my leaders, the confidence of, newbies. People are coming in, they're excited, they're willing to learn, they're coachable. Everything that I wanted, my dream team members, who was going to be my next diamond, everything I wanted to know was in this. I was putting it out here just like as I went. And this first week was like me just pouring my heart and soul into this. Like, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, and I need something to work for me, for God's sake. So then as I was pairing this with reading the Bible. So as I'm reading, I would write down any sort of verse, and it's so crazy how these verses worked into this. And now, like, when I tell people when I'm trying to like explain what journaling does, because like this combination, I'm going to read you them, and you guys are literally just going to crap your pants. Like, okay, so the first one says, and this is the first one I wrote, was, I tell you that you can pray for anything, and if you believe that you have received it, it will be yours. And that's Mark 11:24. The most crucial thing in this verse is that it says, if you believe that you've received it. So if you're journaling and nothing's happening, it's not that the journaling's not working, it's that you are not believing that it's actually happening. Like, you aren't, you're like, yeah, I want to go presidential, I want to go ambassador. But you're like, I don't actually believe that I can get to that position. I don't see myself on stage as Ambassador Diamond. I wish that I could, but I'm not. So you really have to put that belief behind it. And so, behind this verse, it says, in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And that's Romans 8:28. For God is working in you, giving you the desire and power to do what pleases him. And here's another really good one. For everyone who asks receives, everyone who seeks finds, and to everyone who knocks, the door will be open. So again, if you're not asking, the door is not going to be open. He's going to give you what you're asking for. And again, if you pray for anything and you believe it, it will be yours. So for I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. Isaiah 43:19. And so all of these go together and like work so perfectly, saying like, are you trusting God in your business? Are you saying like, this is what, I want to do this. I'm trusting in your plan and I'm ready to go. Like God's going to bless you if you're ready to get your feet moving and get in the trenches and start digging and putting the work in. And so every single one of these things absolutely took 100% credit for my success, because I went presidential in August. So July 18th, 2018 was my first journal entry, and I went presidential diamond in August. I had no volume. I was at like barely triple at that point. Got to presidential. I was a strong presidential. Then we went to ambassador in March. And again, like massive amounts of leaders, massive amounts of diamond and above now. Like it was such a crazy transition. And, the weirdest thing was that I went presidential with a newborn, and I went presidential with ease. It was the easiest. Well, ambassador was honestly easier than presidential, but it was easy for me. And then ambassador got easier because I already had everything working together for me. All my leaders were working together, and I manifested every aspect of that.
Serious, like chills. That was freaking amazing. So whenever you started this journaling and your mindset and where you were in your business, it was in a dark place. How did you like find this mindset of like abundance, of being positive, growing team? Like, how did you find this within yourself to even like put the words onto paper? Because I feel like that's what majority struggle with.
So I knew that I was stuck. So the first thing I needed to do, because I was stuck, was that I need to figure out, because I told you guys, I went from like no money, like we literally were like cut off slips all the time for like telling my power was gonna get shut off, until getting to triple diamond. So making $15,000 to $16,000 a month, I was chilling and I felt comfortable at that income. And so it was hard for me to figure out like literally, if I need more money, what would I do with this money? I was 22 at the time, and I'm just relaxed. But then I realized the second baby is what put me at the point where I was like, this house is not adequate for 2 kids. So I started thinking, what do I like that extra money now? I'm like, okay, that would be better, because we could get a bigger home. We could do a dream home this time. Like I could go in it and not having to worry about how much everything costs. And so I started thinking about things that I wanted. And that's what really got me angry, is that I wanted more and my team wasn't moving. So I started just really putting out there, what did I want? What do I want? What is presidential diamond going to get me that triple diamond isn't? And so I had to write down all the things I wanted. And it's so weird thinking about all the things that I was writing down now, because I have everything now. Like everything I wanted at triple diamond, I have now. And I had it like so quickly. I had it in January of this year. So from July to January, everything was already done. And so I started figuring out what I needed. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this journaling. So I just started writing it out. Like I need these things. And again, I'm very red, so very motivated by money and things. Even to this point, like even at Ambassador Diamond, I need things to motivate me and excite me. So if it's debt, if it's an item, I have to know the exact dollar amount, and that's what pumps me up. So I figure that out. Then I write it out. This is what Presidential Diamond's going to do for me. And so I write out on my journal. And then I got to the point where I'm just talking about like, okay, so I need this amount of money. I need this to happen in my team for me to get this amount of money. And I watched so many YouTube videos. I was listening to so many books. I'm an Audible freak. I do not like to sit down and read books. I listen. So I was listening to a lot. And one of the biggest books that impacted me was The Last Arrow by, I think it's like Erwin McManus. Oh my gosh, so huge. And another really good one that I'm reading it now actually, but you guys need to read it now too. Is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. I think is how you say it. Holy moly. Especially if you struggle with understanding like the power of your mind and how to manifest. Like after this Zoom, if you're not really grasping it, and even if you do sort of grasp it, you need to read it, like listen to it anyways. It's literally going to blow your mind like times a million.
I mean, my mind is already like just blown with what you've already like given us right here. I love it. It's so good. So, okay. I want you to kind of like, let's say somebody has the belief, they have the words, they've started journaling, like really emphasizing we still have to go out there and put out the action. And I was listening to a podcast with Pam recently, and she's like, we can't just journal and try to manifest these things and then go sit and do a yoga pose. Like we've got to go out there and put in the action. So I really just want you to emphasize on that.
Okay, yeah. So like, and this is something important too, because when you're manifesting and you're like, really, when I first started like hearing about manifesting, I didn't understand like what they meant. And like, they always say, don't worry about the how, don't worry about the how. And I'm like, how do you not worry about the how when you're wanting these things? Like, I need to know how I'm going to do that. And so the biggest thing I can tell you is when you're journaling, like you journal out your dream team, right? So you're talking about your dream leaders, what your leaders now are doing to step up and yada, yada. So they start doing the things. You start enrolling people, but instead of them being duds and lazy, you enroll better people. And so they're coming in better. They're taking off faster. They're enrolling more people, and you're enrolling more people, and everything starts to flow together perfectly. So you have to continuously work and manifest what you want in your work. So if you're talking about better team members are coming in. If you're talking about how many customers you want, and the biggest thing in journaling too is never to limit anything. Like if you say I'm going to be making 10,000 a month, it's always 10,000 or more. Or I'm going to enroll 10 distributors or more. Or I'm going to be enrolling 60 loyal customers a month or more. And so you continuously talk about these things, and they just start coming in, but you got to like put the work in and let them come to you, because the weirdest, there's a whole nother aspect of this too. When I started around this time, like it was like the end of July to August last year, is extreme attraction marketing. And I don't know if I've ever said this before, actually, now it just kind of dawned on me, but going into that time, I started attraction marketing. I started studying on it because I wanted everybody to come to me, and I wanted to have a massive business thriving off of this. And so now it does thrive off of that. And I get everybody, like all the distributors I sign come to me, like every single one. All of my customers are coming to me. Like it's literally just like cake for me to do these things, because I've literally journaled about them before I even knew they existed. They come to me and they sign up on the spot every single time. So you just have to journal out exactly what you want, work, and watch like the floodgates just like open up.
Oh my gosh, that is, and what like hashtag goals, like just to be able to have all of this just flooding right on in, and to not have to go out to everybody and try to seek out everybody, but to have everybody come to you. But to even just wrap your brain around that is just, I think, difficult for a lot of people to do, but just all it takes is just journaling, manifesting, and putting in the action for it. I freaking love it. Okay, so number 147 is where you were at. Today, you are top 20. Do you feel like it's journaling that got you to there, your layered leadership? Like what, if anything in specific, what do you feel like has caused like such amazing momentum within your business?
Oh, it's 100% like journaling and mastering the manifesting thing. Like I truly like wish I understood this so much faster in my business, and so much more like, instead of just like my work ethic, because my work ethic is amazing, but it wasn't pulling it in, because I always would get, like, I get frustrated. I know so many people on here can relate. When you enroll somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm going diamond, and they literally don't even get 4 loyal customers. And you're like so frustrated. What are you doing? And like the people that come in, and I just do not understand like the lack mentality, and like all the BS excuses that we get, all the stuff that goes on. I'm like, getting from 147, initially when I first started this, I never thought I would even see like top 150, never. And then like once I got to triple, I'm like, I want top 150. And then I hit 147, and I was like, whoa, this is nuts. And then obviously I don't want to be close to the end of 150. That sucks. So I want to get up to top 50. And then I'm like, top 20 would be crazy. And you guys, this is so insane, because the night before we got the email, I didn't even know we were getting emails. So that's another thing. But I was sitting in the bath. And for me, I do journal, but I also do a lot of manifesting like in quiet time for me. So if you don't have any quiet time during the day, you need to start scheduling that for yourself. I take long showers or long baths. Like that's non-negotiable, at least an hour for me every single day. And so I was just in the bath, just doing my thing. I just had worship music on my iPad, and I was just sitting there zoning. And you'll kind of get the hang of this too. You'll start to get in the zone of like, well, I know some people, you're already been in the zone where like you're doing dishes, you're in the shower, and you're like, okay, I gotta do laundry. Tomorrow my kids got cheer practice at this time. Like your mind's already moving. You're talking to yourself. So instead of worrying about like all the crap that we have going on in our regular life, I use that time to think of what's happening. Like, what do I want to happen? Like, where do I want my business? What do I need to do for my business? Who's going to be rising up? Who's been working? Like, I just think about everything. what I want. Like I really, right now, my biggest thing is next year I'm putting in a pool, like a massive freaking pool with a waterfall, what it's going to look like, how it's going to be installed. Like it's going to be salt water, everything. Like I just imagine myself sitting in the pool and like, I'm just everything during this time. So the day before we got emails, I was sitting in the bathtub. I was just relaxing and in the zone. And like you will get the zone thing. Like I said, you'll pick up on that, but you're in the zone. And I'm like, I'm at top 20. I'm at the retreat. I'm sitting at the resort in the cabana with Zach. We're just relaxing and enjoying the beautiful water and like the white sand. And then I vision like us running through the water and then somebody's taking our picture. I'm like, wow, that would look so good on my Instagram with my preset and like the drinks, like everything. Like I already know everything that's going to happen, all the photos that I want, what our room's going to look like. I'm just like in the zone. And then next thing you know, the next day we get an email and we're top 20. And I'm like, what? Like it literally, like, I was just like, dude, this is nuts. Cause I was number 32 the month before. So from 32 to top 20, like that's literally 12 spots at it. Like, and I could be anywhere from 11 to 20. And that's the weirdest thing for me. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I just literally manifested that in the day before, chilling in the bathtub. And so when you every single day you schedule that time in, and at first it's going to feel real weird, but there's no phone. Like it's phone's going to do not disturb. You cannot talk to me during this time. This is me time. My husband's on their room. There's nobody talking. You're in there. You're in the zone. You're thinking of what you want, how you want it, what it'll be like, what it'll look like, what it'll taste like, what it's going to smell like, everything. And then next thing you know, like the littlest things are going to start happening for you. It could be anything. Like do not put limits on it because everything is in abundance. But like literally, you're in control in every aspect of your life. Not business and not business. Your mind controls everything.
I love that you said you don't take your phone whenever you are doing this. And I think that's so important for all of us because when we are in this season of momentum and we are having such amazing times within our business, we feel guilty when our phone isn't in our hands. But it's so important for us to know that like this is just as important as us sending the message or putting the post or being on our story or any of that. And if we can't focus on this, we can't do those other things either. So I'm so happy that you said that. So I have one more question on journaling and then we'll step off into the next thing. For you and your journaling, do you just do it in a simple notebook or what do you like to journal in?
Okay. So I have the leadership. This is my journal. Okay. And then I have two of them. So I do my journaling in that. I always say your journal cannot just be, it needs to be something that means something to you. So not just like the cheapest thing you can find, and not like little like dinky rinky thing. Find something that's like quality that you want to put everything in, because this is like, I don't want to say it's kind of like a diary, but it kind of is. And so when you're writing in it, so you write with your good pen. You don't write with like some weird pink ink. Like I write it with my good pen every day, and do it when you feel good. Like not when the kids are chaotic. I don't do it in the morning because I can't, because my kids are nuts. And so I have to do it during nap time, if I have quiet time then, or if at nighttime. But no matter what time you do it, you have to be in the zone. If you're not in the zone, it doesn't work.
That's so true. And oh my gosh, I have been like in and out with my journaling. Like I'll do it a couple of days a week and then the next week I'm really good and then a couple of days. And so I'm excited to just get super consistent and just utilize all of these tips. So thank you for all of those. Okay, now let's switch gears a little bit and just tap into kind of like some leadership tips and strategies that you can kind of share with the ladies that are on here, and then we'll wrap things up. So that way we're not taking up too much of your time. So I feel like outside looking in, your layered leadership is probably really good. And what do you feel like has played such a good role in that? And how do you teach that into your team?
Okay, so I used to be a super big control freak. And so I had to learn that, like, especially into the bigger ranks, like you literally have to, it's no longer an option if you want to be, have your sanity. So what I do is I give everybody tasks. And the best thing about this, and the biggest thing that I've learned, is that your team gets excited when you ask them to do something. And at first, if you're super red like me and you're like, I do everything the right way, I do everything like just the best way, that's like how I am. I'm like always like, I know if I do it, it's going to be perfect every time. But what I had to do was let that go a little and let them do it, even if I wanted to cringe a little bit, and just let them learn and like give everybody, and I know everybody's strength. So like as I'm pulling people up, I'm like, hey, you know, you're signing a lot of volume. Why don't you, I'm going to pull you on the Zoom with me, and I'm going to let you talk on the team Zoom. And like, it pulls them up out of their comfort zone. They know they have to do something a little different, but it helps a lot. So they will, you know, just even out, now let's say I start doing this really at the Ruby-ish, like Ruby level really. And then like, I don't give them a lot of responsibility at Ruby, but like a little bit here, and then Emerald a little bit more. And then at Diamond, like you're ready for me to be calling you out for everything. So everybody, I have a Diamond chat. And so whenever anything needs to be done, I'm like, hey, we need a power hour. We haven't had one in a couple of days. Like, who's doing it? And I let them do it. Same thing with like trainings. I'm like, you know, we have trainings on the first and third Wednesday of every month that I lead. But really it's like one Wednesday that I'm leading, and I let somebody else, I pick somebody randomly to do something on a Wednesday, and I'll chime in here and there, but I'm pretty much like picking people to highlight and make them step out of their comfort zone and do things. Live in the page, to have them do them in your team page and just say, hey, you know what, you're really good at live videos, or you're really good at something, and just highlighting their strengths and getting them to step out of that comfort zone. Because a lot of times, especially with bigger teams, they're intimidated by your whole downline. So like it makes them it kind of pushes them, but then it gives them more confidence, because then people are looking up to them like, hey, you know, Nicole the Diamond leader, and she's killing it. And now I want to be like Nicole because I'm just a new distributor or whatever. And, you know, and then also, when I give people, as far as placing goes and all that kind of thing, like whenever I'm giving somebody distributors or customers, I do not introduce them right away. Like if we're going to talk like Ruby level, if somebody's a Ruby going Emerald and I'm placing, they don't get to talk to their upline until they've got their 4 loaded customers. Then they talk to their upline. And then once their upline's Emerald and like in a solid position where they know the basics, they know how we do things, they know how to train, then they get introduced within like the first few days. I just like to keep my person enrolled to me, so that they're not like, oh, I'm just shoving them off right away. I'm getting them acclimated and then they move on. And really just letting them take that, even though in the beginning, if you're a control freak, you're going to cringe a little. They're going to do things that are like not your way, but it turns out for the better of things, because they start to flourish and do it on their own. Like letting people handle your contests, letting people handle, you know, shout outs or little things. Like start small and then let it get bigger. And then they start doing things the right way and perfecting it, so you're not always in charge and feeling like your plate is always full.
That's some good stuff. And I think a lot of that comes down to us as women though too, because like think about like us with our spouses. If like you ask them to do something and they're not doing it the way you want, you're like, oh, just forget it. I'll just go do it myself. And so it's a lot of us trying to break out of that routine, but also letting people see that like they can do this too. And a lot of times somebody's not going to break out of that comfort role unless we pull them out of that comfort role. So I love that you approached that and talked about that. Okay. A couple more questions and then we will finish. 2 more. What does a normal day look like for you? Like you've made it all the way up to Ambassador Diamond. And so like, what's your days like right now?
Okay. So I am busy, but I do a lot. So every single day, like I sort of have a checklist, and I will, let me pull it up. I'll tell you guys a good way that I break it up every day. So, okay, so every single day, like a non-negotiable for me, I do Instagram pretty much solely. Like you'll see me post on Facebook like every once in a while, but like Instagram's the jam, that's where the money's at, and I put all my time into Instagram. So I put Instagram stories are a must. Like you have to do them if you're working Instagram. This is where you're gonna make all your money. You're gonna get a following. Everybody's gonna start flocking to you from stories. So every day posting on my stories at least 8 to 10 times a day is an absolute must. And that's just anything. If you follow me, you'll see that. I follow about 100 to 125 a day. It just depends on how I'm feeling, what I'm doing. But I follow throughout the day. Like when I wake up in the morning, my first thing, I have breakfast with the kids. I am not an early riser. I literally will never be an early riser. I'm all about my sleep. So I sleep, I wake up, I have breakfast with the kids. When the kids are eating breakfast, because they take about 5 hours to do that, I start getting all my stuff done. So I'm following people, I'm commenting on people's posts, and I'm messaging off of Instagram stories to build relationships. So I'm like all up on Instagram in the morning. I do a little bit at a time, and I message for a few hosted posts, and I let my time work for me. So I'm not on my phone all day long. I do what has to be done when my kids are occupied, when my kids are done breakfast, we play, we hang out. Usually I will work out, and then and that's usually around the baby's nap time. I have 2 kids, one's 5, one's 1. So the baby naps, and then I work out, get a shower, get ready for the day, and then I message a little bit more, like message for more relationships. I do my host to post, answer messages, and then again, I'm like, and follow more. I let my time work for me. So when I come back to my phone, there's always work to be done. And at all times, I have messages to answer. I have people to, accept follow requests, all the things. I get team stuff done during that time too. So like whenever I have to run reports, I'm doing any sort of contest work, anything that I have to do, like I just call it like the side tasks or whatever you have to do, that like the back end stuff. I do that during that time. And then when the baby wakes up and it's lunchtime, we have, a little bit more family time during this time. And then I sit down, I work for about 30 to 40 minutes, just like getting the rest of my tasks, which basically updating volume, doing my follow-ups. And really that's kind of like the jam for me, and getting back to messages and training people. And then at nighttime, I usually do either I have a Zoom or I'm on a one-on-one, just getting people kind of going. And then I journal, of course, usually night times where I journal-ish for the most part. I am statements, and I do self-development throughout my day. I don't have a consistent schedule. That's not how I work, but I do pretty much like I told you I listen to Audible. So my Audible is done usually when I'm getting ready. And I think that's for the most part it. I do, like when it comes to recruiting, because I don't message for recruits, I get them coming to me. So I do it a little differently. Whenever I open positions, again, if you follow me, you kind of see me do this, but I open positions on my team. Then I like figure out who I'm enrolling. I pick them, I enroll them, and the rest of them have to wait until I'm ready to accept more. And so I train them, like I talk to them, get them enrolled, and train them, but that's on specific days of the month that are never predetermined. It's when I feel like it and when I have time to.
Perfect. And so what I love about all of that I just took away there is super intentional. With every single moment that you get to work this business, you've got to be super intentional. So that way we can have those fun times throughout the day, the freedom times throughout the day without having our phone in our hands all day. Because I think that's something that some people struggle with is they're like, okay, but I got to work all day. And then all of a sudden it turns into the mindless scrolling on Facebook and Instagram. And that's not bringing us any money, any growth, none of that. So I love that you really touch base on that. Okay. Last question for us tonight, or for you tonight. What would today, Katie, tell a brand new Katie or the diamond leader Katie? Like, what would you tell her today?
I would tell her, figure out how to manifest things and get organized with a calendar. I struggled with this a lot through my like double diamond, triple diamond, because I do not have a schedule. So like a lot of times it's easy, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom or like whatever, you're just like don't have like to go to work every day. And so it's hard to discipline yourself and say like, but a lot of times you'll wake up and the next thing you know, it's bedtime. And you're like, what happened to the day? Like, I don't even know, but I didn't get anything done. And then that leads to stress and overwhelm. So getting a calendar and writing out every week on Sunday, I plan out everything I have this week. So I like literally, if I have any must-dos, like my daughter always has cheer practice on these days, I've got a doctor's appointment, I've got this, then I schedule in activities to do. Like we don't just sit at home all day, every day, because that doesn't create anything good for me when it comes to leads. I don't get a lot of attention. Like I know I have to schedule things. So we go to the library, or we'll go do a craft, or we'll go do something 3 to 4 times a week. Random things, can be ice cream, doesn't matter. But I schedule those things in, and then I schedule where I'm going to work, and I always leave buffer time so that I have, like, if something pops up, hey, I have time for that. Or, somebody asked me to do a Zoom, oh, I have time here. And so I know what's happening every day. That means my husband doesn't get angry or upset because he knows what's going on. All he has to do is pop into my office, look at my calendar. He knows what's going on all week long. So he knows, I know, more work gets done. I'm more efficient. And I already know that, like, for the manifesting side of things, I already know how many people I'm enrolling this month. I already know who it's going to be, what they're going to be like, and how my day is going to play out, because I've already talked about it, already created it. I'm just letting it happen.
So perfect. Oh my gosh, Katie. Seriously, you absolutely killed this tonight. I am just so excited and so thankful that you did this for us. I cannot wait to hear everybody's takeaway from this, because I know that I took away so much, and that I can't wait to start implementing within my business and my journaling and leadership and everything else. So seriously, we appreciate you so much and cheering you on every single step of the way of every crazy good thing that you're going to be able to do here. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right, you guys, have a good night, everyone.